Welcome back to another Palm Wine Central in collaboration with Stock and More Podcast Book Club. Today's a very special one, y'all. Not just because my little brother, is joining us, the author of this book we're about to discuss, but it's a story of love, and tribalism, and all the good stuff we Africans like to touch on when we're having Thanksgiving and all these different festivities. But again, welcome to our discussion on No Such Thing as Halfway, a powerful debut novel by author Reflex Ebongba, a compelling story that follows Demi and Yanis, a couple navigating the challenges of an 8-year long distance relationship after meeting on social media. Bound by love, yet torn by culture and familiar expectations, they struggle to honor their commitment despite pressures to marry within their own backgrounds. Just when their future seems secure, Yanis makes a decision that threatens to break their bond forever. As he grapples with regrets, he realizes that true commitment requires more than just words. It demands action. But is it too late? We'll find out. This novel invites us to explore themes of love, sacrifice, and the tension between personal desires and cultural traditions. No further ado, man. Let's give a round of applause for the author of this book, No Such Thing as Halfway, Reflex. Ebon, bye. Welcome to the book club, man. How you feeling?
Appreciate you guys, man. I hear I'm the first guest in the book club, so this is an honor. Appreciate it. Hopefully we can have a great discussion.
Yes, so I mean, you already know how this thing go, right? I don't got to tell you. Introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, so like you said, I go by Reflex. Some people call me Flex. First name Ato, last name Bat, brother to Choo Choo and AK, and friend to the room. Author of this book, No Such Thing as Halfway. My debut novel I wrote, published 2020 during the pandemic. Started writing 2028, published 2020, and day job, I do the IT thing, and I'm a father of one, and a husband to one as well.
Nice. I know we got to do first impressions, but a little bit about the book before we get into the book.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got to dig too much, but can you tell us just in your own words, not what you wrote, is it the preference or the, what you wrote? No words, yeah. Just summarize the book for us, I know it's been years, but, if you could remember.
Yeah. I can remember. So I summarize it in, like, just a long distance relationship that's caught in between culture and tribalism.
Nice. Very short and sweet. Okay. I'll turn over to the panel now. T, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I'm ready to tear this book apart, page by page. I hope Reflex does not take offense because I have questions.
Not at all.
Nice. Oh, Barbara.
Happy Friday, everyone. And it's the last day of February. So I hope y'all's month was amazing. And I'm excited about this book because I got some questions too for Reflex. So let's get it.
I don't like every time you gotta remind us that it's the last day of the month. We know we gotta play for more.
I'm hoping somebody had an amazing one.
That's our unofficial rule.
But anyways, man, thank you. Appreciate it. Laura, what's good with you? The latest mama on the blog.
Hi guys,
welcome back.
I know, I'm excited to be back. I love the book, and I can relate to it in certain aspects. Not all, but definitely some. So I'm just excited. Yeah.
Nice. How's the little one doing? How is it?
She's great.
Cool. That's what's up, man. We see the smiles, We hope that smile stays like that. Don't come and tell us that, it's in this, but that's not why we're here. How you feeling?
Oh, my feelings? I feel good. The book kind of hurt my feelings, but it was good.
Again?
Yes,
Feelings again? You read it Yes,
This is like what the third time I read it.
so every time you really hurt your feelings.
Every time I read it, it hurts my feelings. Cause dang, my brother went through this.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. These things happen, you know. That's why he wrote it down for us to be able to talk about it today and experience it, you know, all that good stuff. We have Fatu and Khadija joining us. Welcome, welcome. First impression to the book. Barbara,
Yes.
what was your first impression of the book? Like on the title, "No Such Thing as Halfway." What do you think of it? Did it meet your expectations before reading it and after reading it?
Okay, so just based on the title, right? And I knew it was a love story. Reading it in the back of my mind, I created this scenario that they were going to fight for the love, and it's just going to have an amazing, happy ending. And I was excited that they, you know, they overcome the trials. But I'm glad Reflex is here because that ending I did not expect it. It pains my soul. So I have some questions. But I loved how it did. It highlights some of the challenges that we face in our community, especially when you come from different backgrounds. And so I'm excited that we're going to talk about it. And all of us here are from different countries, even though all of us are from Africa. So I'm excited about our conversation. But the ending I did not see coming, and I'm pained about it as well. So
It's nice. Nora, first impression.
I think when reading the just the summary of what the book was about, I was like, oh, this is nice, long distance. I can definitely relate when it comes to long distance. So I was really looking forward to, oh yay, they make it in the end. And like I said, I have a different opinion of the end of the book. Maybe it's probably different than everybody, but it definitely didn't go the way I planned. But then again, in my head, I see what I want it to be like. So yeah.
Nice. Let's get the two newcomers to the book club. We haven't heard you guys' voice. We'll worry about introductions later. But what were you guys' first impression of the book? No Such Thing as Halfway. Fatu, go first.
I thought the book was really good. I actually read it in like 2 days because I kept wanting to know what was gonna happen next. So it was really good, and I understand because, of course, I'm Muslim, and when it comes to religion, that's a disconnect for me. So I completely understand.
Oh yeah. True. Yeah, we're definitely going. Yeah, glad to be here so we can tackle that a little bit from the Muslim side of things too. Khadija.
Hello. I was really interested in the book as well. This was my first time reading a book from like an African person. So I really like that point of view. I like that it was very like religious as well. That's my kind of point of view.
Nice. T. Gotta go from here. I think that's good for first impressions.
I don't like to read the summary of a book before I read it. I just like to look at the title and get into it. Right from the title, I did not guess that that's where the story was going. So I was taken by surprise on what the storyline was. From the title, I did not think it had all that it had to have, right? And then by the end of the introduction, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, okay, let's see what the rest of this book says. So that was mine. So like Reflex mentioned, the book follows, it's about long distance, right? The love story of Demi and Giannis. They had 8-year long distance relationship. 8. Now this raises questions of whether love can transcend distance, time, and external pressures, right? Nora, this one's for you. You mentioned that you can relate to long distance. Can love really survive distance, time, and all the extras that come with it?
I would say yes. Mine did. But these two, 8 years is a long time to not make things official and to go through all that. Okay. But the reason I can say that is because I also met my husband on Facebook and we talked for like a really long time. But then we literally met each other the same week we got married. It's a whirlwind type of romance. But honestly, it was Facebook, then talking for 13 months, then me traveling to Cameroon and us getting hitched, and then more long distance until we finally came and we're now like living as husband and wife. So for me, long distance is great, but it couldn't be what this little people went through because that's traumatizing. Okay, they went through a lot for them to have not made it. If I had to do what they did, 8 years we would have been done a long time ago. No. But I say long distance is good. The communication they had, I could see how it was sustained because when my husband and I were apart, all we could do was talk and really get to know each other. But without that proper commitment, that's a challenge. That is, I felt for them. As the years passed for them, I was like, oh my gosh, this family needs to buckle down. This family the ice needs to break. Like, come on, what is going on? I really, really thought that the family was gonna be like, okay, since they're enduring, let's just let them do what they want to do. But no, apparently that wasn't the case.
So what you're saying is love can, but there's a cap on how long love can survive.
Absolutely, because in my world, if my husband hadn't been like, "Ma'am, let's make this thing official," I would have been like, "Look here, I'm over it. I need to find somebody that's trying to put a ring on it. And let's move on." So yeah.
Reflex, you want part 2 of the book? Hit Nora up.
I like this because I'm gonna try to provide some context. I guess it's the benefits of having the author where needed. If you guys want, like for example, the title. For example, Therese was mentioning like the title, intriguing her. I've grabbed the title from 2 songs. So when I was writing the book, the first song and I was thinking about a title. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Shook Once. It's a song. It's a rap song. It's no such thing as halfway crook, scared to death, scared. Like, I forget how the lyrics go, but basically, like the concept is if you're scared, like you can't get anything done. That's where the no such thing portion comes from, and then halfway comes from a James Blunt song. And in the song, he was talking about some of the concepts that I mentioned in the book. So I kind of like meshed two different concepts from 2 different songs to provide a book title. But also, like, I think the 8 years. I think based on what Nara is saying, I'm just smiling because I got you right. Like it was meant to evoke emotions like that. Like, come on, like 8 years. Like, of course, are we doing a spoiler thing? Like this, we can like okay, yeah. So yeah, the 8 years is really to like evoke emotions like that, right? Like dang, like 8 years. I'm really gonna go through that for 8 years. How much is somebody willing to take? How much more can somebody go? And like some people's like, man, like I can do it 8 years. I can only do a year. But it's great that you have that perspective too. Like, you meet your husband on Facebook, you talk, and you only meet him for 1 week, and you get married. So that's tough. Whereas Giannis and Demi, they had opportunities to meet, travel, visit each other's family a lot of times, and there were a lot of red tape. So that's a good perspective. But I'm happy because it's evoking the emotions that as an author I wanted to evoke.
Babs, I think your eyes are at the back of your head. What's up? What's your take on this 8-year distance and their love surviving?
The 8 year, right? These people spent 2 years talking.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 2+ years? I'm sitting there like it took you people two years to talk, and then 8 years for this whole situation, then just for the ending to get the way it did. That's what is paining me, if anything. That's what I am more emotional about. But just if you look at it from, I guess, a religious standpoint, and the book, because both of them were very Christian, they were very bent on the fact that they had to pray about who their partners were. They had to be cautious. They had to get advice from the people. So that thing takes time for some people, so I can understand.
They were young.
Yes, the young as well. And before they got into the relationship, the book, you can hear both sides were saying that they know their parents had told them that both of them were a no-go. And so you can understand why it took them time to get to that point. But 8 years, it's a long time. And I don't kind of believe 8 years a long distance relationship can sustain it. It's less that period of the time, but it takes a lot of commitment, which both of them had. And so I don't know. The ending is just, I think I'm just more focused on the ending. That's why
we'll get there. I guess it begs the question for like everybody is like, especially like I think Nara mentioned, like if you're not ready to put a ring on it in, I don't know, 2 whatever your time is, there's somebody else who will. So I guess the question for the group is like, what's everybody's timeline? Is it based on the woman's biological clock? Is it based on your history with a person? What are some like external dependencies that play a factor into timeline when it comes to like commitments in the relationship?
On top of that too, I was just going to ask that would you rather they had 5 within the 8 or 1?
Let you go this one because she kind of scrooge up her face at something Barbara said, so I'd like to hear her thoughts on that.
I was going to say that 8 years is a long time, and they always say like to love somebody is a choice. So to wake up 8 years and make that choice that you're going to stay committed, you're going to stay connected, you're going to stay communicating, it's tough. Personally, for me, like that's tough. It's like waking up to go to the gym every day. You're choosing to go to the gym. You're choosing to like be with that person. You're choosing to love that person. You're choosing to commit to that person. So like to answer your question too, Flex, like what's the timeline for some women? I can only speak for myself. It's only when God chooses it. I can't rush things. Most people would say like biological clock, but you can't like rush things as a woman. I feel like nowadays, especially with how our generation is, when you rush things, you find yourself in divorce. You rush things, you find yourself not liking the person that you are because you didn't spend that time getting to know them. A lot of people, you don't really get to fully discover them till you're like 2 to 3 years in. And everybody's so superficial nowadays. And it's like you're peeling back layers of onions very slowly. And if you make that commitment within a year or 2 years, by year 3, 4, 5, you're going to regret that commitment. And that would suck. So I have no timeline on when anybody should get down on one knee and say, hey, you want to marry me?
Let me add to something you just said. So in the book, right, Reflex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yannis knew from the jump that this girl was going to be, yes. Yeah. He did not need to wait. So what he did was he was waiting on the girl. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, I think it's both of you guys always know if the person that's the person you're going to be with, so you don't have to wait 8 years, because in your book you kind of said it. He knew from the beginning that this was who he wanted to be with. I think he was just wanting to meet her face to face to see, and it confirmed that for him. So
some people go to medical school or any career of that, right? And they spend 5 years just to graduate and say, you know what? I don't think I was in the right thing. And then they go back to go restart to find another degree. Please, somebody help me here. What's the difference?
You're talking about school and a relationship where emotions are involved, and there's a lot of emotions are like deeper and stronger, I think, than like school and different things of that nature, especially when there's high tension like family. And in a long distance relationship, I think Nara or anybody who's been in a long distance relationship can attest. When you're in a long distance relationship, you meet that person, like emotions spark. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you're separated again, it's like golly. So yeah, I think it's apples to oranges.
I don't know. I think, like, for me, I think it's different for everybody. Um, I think when you all said something about biological clock, I think that's very important for us females. Like with us, we can't have children forever, you know. So I mean, I'm in my late 20s, so for me, I think I give someone 2 years. You know, that's just me though, because I'm like, look, by 2 years you should know if you want to be with me or not. Like by 2 years you should know if like you see yourself in the future with me. But if not, I feel like we're wasting each other's time. And I feel like with men, men know when they want to marry a woman. Like you said in the book, you already knew like, or the what's his name, Jonas already knew that he wanted a family with her. So it's just like I think it depends on the person specifically. But for me, it's like I want to have kids. I want to start a family. So I don't want to waste my time with someone that doesn't want or see a future with me. So that's just me. I don't know.
So let me ask you this for two. Is it just the aspect of the timing, or is it something else within that time?
Yeah,
Is it just okay? If it's 2 years, I don't care if I got my shit together. I don't care if you have money. I don't care about it. Is it just if it's 2 years, let's go?
I don't know. Like within this 2 years, you should be prepared. You know, of course, like there should be some type of financial stability. Because if not, we can't do it. Because like I said, I'm ready to start my family. I'm not in a relationship just to date. I'm in a relationship to get married. So now, if you don't see yourself getting married to me and you're not working towards stability, then you gotta go. You know, onto someone that's serious. There's some men that meet you within 6 months and they're like, "Look, I already have my stuff together. I'm ready to get married. Let's get started." I'm not saying 6 months is what you should go for. That's a little early. But I'm just saying, like, you know, if someone's serious about you. And then there's people that like to waste your time. And I personally don't like my time being wasted.
If I'm serious about you 100%, right? Like 100%. But then again, I'm doing my own thing in the corner. Do you take the seriousness and ignore the rest, being that that's what you want? Or do you want 100% of everything?
But when you say like you're doing things in the corner, what do you mean by
Cheating.
oh, then you're not serious about me then if you're cheating. Because if you're really serious about me, then that cheating wouldn't be involved in, you know, the relationship. Because if you want to do your little side thing, then go and be with your side thing. But don't waste my time when I'm looking for my husband. You see?
I'm just checking, you know.
Yeah. Because if you're serious, like in all honesty, if you're serious about somebody, you wouldn't put them through certain situations. Like
So
you
wait.
would generally, yeah.
So wait, I might be going wrong with this, but I just remember that you're Muslim. So for you, do you plan to marry the Christian realm or the Muslim realm? If you marry the Muslim realm, if your husband wants polygamy, how do you recognize, like, how do you rationale those two things?
You just said a lot.
So maybe that's a conversation for some other time. Maybe let's get back to
Yeah. So I think, I mean, the points about it, and you know, getting back into the perspective of this young man, is like you said, Barbie. He knew, right? Like, in you know, when you know and you're committed to somebody or the cause, meaning like, man, we're gonna make this thing work. It's like, you know, 6 months turned to a year quick when you were like, okay, listen, I think I got a shot next time I see this person, right? Given the distance, next time I get a chance to plead my case before the roadblocks, be it family, be it, you know, time, be it, you know, whatever, you know, she got going on. So, you know, bringing it to somebody else's story, you know, like Kanara, it's like, you know, she and her husband right now, they probably were in a different, you know, situation where it's like she has a career, he has a career, or they know they want to get married. It's nothing stopping them. Listen, when I see you, it's popping, right? But Giannis is like, I know, you know, you're the one, and I want to make this thing work. And she's also giving indication of it. So it's like, okay, we're gonna take our time, no matter how long it takes, we're gonna be committed. And then next thing you know, it's years and years and years, and then still there's no bright ending. When the love is strong, the time can fly.
I'm glad you used the C word, right? Commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Love and commitment the same thing, and this is for everybody, right? Is love and commitment the same thing? If so, why not? And what is the difference? And do we see each of these aspects reflected in Demi and Giannis' relationship?
You just should take this one first. I think she got the notes for it.
Who?
Khadija. She got notes for that question. She got it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then. Hit us.
I don't believe love and commitment is the same thing. I think it's two different definitions. I do think if you want to commit to something, then that can be a choice, right? And I feel like if you love someone, I feel like it should be natural. I'm not sure with I understand 8 years is too long, but I know for myself, it does take me time to get to know someone. And I do sometimes think that 2 years is kind of short. But also I am kind of young, so I know my perspective will change as I get older. And I also feel like because I haven't really been in love before, I really don't know the definition of love, to be honest.
I kind of want to piggyback on what she's saying. I also agree. I don't think love and commitment is the same thing. With commitment, when you commit to something, you don't necessarily have to love it. It's like I can commit to going to the gym, but completely hate going to the gym. But I'm just doing it for my own beneficial use. Whereas love, if it's real love, it's something sometimes you don't even have control of. Like when you fall in love with something or even someone, sometimes you're even in situations where it's toxic and you don't know how to leave because you're blinded by love. So I think it's completely different. But in order to love, you definitely need commitment.
Let's go back again. Let's rewind again a little bit, right?
I was about to rewind
again, just a little bit, right? To what you said, right? Anyway, Tia, continue, because I'm probably prolong it, but continue.
I don't want to go back. Let me ask Nora this. You had books. You're practically a character in this book, right? What's your take? Love and commitment, are they the same thing? What is the difference? How do you see that in Demi and Giannis' relationship?
I think, like Fatima said, and Khadija too, you need to be committed if you're in love, but you don't necessarily. Or what was the other one? If you're in love, if you choose love, you have to commit to it. Otherwise it's kind of like you're in one day and out the other. I think I just looked at them from different perspectives, right? They were very young when they started off. So it can be easy for them to go year one, year two. I know that when I started college as an 18-year-old, by the time I graduated pharmacy school, if I would have met the same guy, like on day one, when I was a freshman and when I graduated, I would have given them a different timeline as to what we should be doing a couple of years later. You're different people. So for them, now that I think about it, if I give them 8 years, they were pretty young. You have to kind of learn each other, know what's going on, see where you are, and things like that. But I think that Jonas knew. He was like, I'm digging this girl. The first time they met, he was like, okay, I've seen her in person, everything, all the long distance, and now seeing her face to face, everything now is like 100% boom, she can be my girl. But then when it came to him actually committing, obviously they were very spiritual, they were Christians, they both wanted to honor their mother and father, so I kind of get that perspective. But at the end of the day, he's the man. I knew I was going to marry my husband, but he's the one who had to ask me to be his wife. I couldn't be like, okay, I'm just going to leave my family if he wasn't going to actually ask me. So at the end of the day, it was up to him. The ball was ultimately in his court. We're not in this thing where the women be proposing to men. We don't do that. That's not a thing. So the ball was ultimately in his court at the end of the day, and he's the one who was we're going to leave our families and just be together. If he had chosen to do that, I think she would have followed him. I think they would have left their family and they would have gone and had their little life, and then the family would have had to come around. Like they would have had no choice. But he chose to I'm scared. No, no, no. And then it was too late. So whatever.
Barbs, let me rephrase this for you. Right, the same question. Let me put it this way. I know everyone has said, like a lot of people have said, love and commitment are not the same thing. Do you think that commitment has a threshold? Like, when does it have an ending? Like, do you get to a time, if you get to give up, does that still qualify as commitment?
No.
How would you qualify something being like commitment to a thing? How would you qualify that?
When I'm gonna take it back to the story, right? And then because I had a question for reflecting that. Giannis and Demi, when they started, right, they were actually committed to each other. Very.
Mm-hmm.
They were very committed to each other. It was the effort that they made. They communicated with each other every day. They had check-ins. He was committed, like both of them before they entered the relationship, they understood that they were going to face some difficulties because of what their parents had told them about marriages before. So they were pretty much committed to each other. They kept talking to each other about it, having conversations about it. But even when they had friction from the family, I think they still stayed. They had like a little bit of a bump there, but their commitment to each other kept each other, because when Demi went down, Giannis kept her up. He would say, don't worry, I'm here, we're going to fight. They had challenges, but they worked it through. Giannis broke that commitment when he gave up at the end, because she tried, and she actually begged. I said, please don't do this. She was still committed to the end, but Giannis broke it.
Broke it. I love it.
So he gave up. He gave up on it. He didn't push through, which was one of my biggest things. I'm like, he was so committed. I don't know what broke him, which I want reflexes here. Like, I wanted to ask what broke. Something broke him. And
save that question for later.
For the ending, yes. And then at the ending, when we get to the end of the book, I know, like, probably just to the audience, like, we're jumping ahead. He remembered his commitment to her, like the promises he made to her. They were going to write a book. She was going to be the first one to read it. He was so excited and everything else. But to some people, he made a promise to her. He made a commitment to her, and she stuck with it. But he broke it and came back thinking he could just pick up on where he left. I'm like, are you mad? So
you said commitment can be broken. What about love? Is it once you love forever, or
actually you do?
You can break.
I think, listen, there's always going to be love there. Hurt can cause you to start hating, but that love is always going to be there. Demi, in this book, I'm going to stick to the book. Even at the end, I think she still loved Giannis because she showed up to that thing, even though she won't get that when we get to it. She still showed up for him and had a conversation. I'm one of those people that think that you can just stop loving somebody. I mean, you can move on. You can be there, but we all love human beings like regular people.
Did she show up because she remembered that they were going to write about her so that she could read the manuscript, or did she show up because she was hurt?
No, because she didn't even know.
She didn't know any of that. She just showed up because Giannis asked her to show up, and she showed up. She probably wanted to tell him the news anyway.
Well, you did. Did say that. You did say that they had all these plans, right? And if you did read the book, it was in there that he did mention that she was going to be the first person to read the book.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Now you're just writing scenes into that book. We're not gonna do that. It's not there.
No, finish.
I do agree with Barbara, right? I think love just changes forms, even when commitment ends. There's always going to be love. It might not be the same kind of love, but I believe, to me, even within the story and outside of it, I believe that if you truly, for one time in your life, love somebody, you will till you die. It will change forms. It will not be the same intensity. It may not be the same kind of love, but if it was genuine love, I don't think that goes away. You can't just bat your eyelashes. Like she said, hurt might come in the way, but once that dissipates, there's always going to be love for that person.
Dang.
That person calls, you're always gonna come. You would always answer. You would always reply their text, right? You would always want them to be doing well, even if you're not a part of that story. So I do agree with her there.
Dang. Yeah, nice.
I agree
people.
too.
What?
I agree too. Yeah, you had 8 years of experiences with Demi, like 8 years of experience with Jonas. Sorry, Jonas had 8 years of experiences with Demi. 8 years of commitment. 8 years of love. 8 years of conversations, long distance. So it's like you just don't easily fall out of that with that person. Even if you move on and like you're with someone else, you're still gonna have those same feelings for that person. You're still gonna want to
I got
wonder how
question
they're
for you,
doing. So love never disappears.
I got a question for Barbara, Therese, and Choo Choo, and everybody. Fatu, Khadija. I think Fatu said you've never been in a relationship.
Khadija says she's never been.
Khadija, she said she's not been
she
in
said
love.
never. So everybody else, have you? Everybody, I'm assuming. If I didn't ask it, I'm assuming everybody has had at least one relationship or a first, quote unquote, first love. What do you feel about that person these days?
I personally don't think about. Oh, sorry.
Exactly. That person would never be talking about it. So.
Oh no, I'm different. This to my G.
A picture of my baby the other day. We know, and it's been forever.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Why would you think see, even if that person hurt you, no matter what they did down the road, when you see the person and you're still crying, the hurt is there, but the love is still underneath. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? You understand? Because they'll come and comfort you and reflex. You'll be like, but this person did this. The fact that you're waiting, there's a hurt there, but that love is always gonna be there, because no matter what, if they come and tell you that person dropped dead today, you're not gonna be like, praise Jesus. You're gonna feel a little bit of ounce of sadness in there. That's love, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it simple as this, right? We all here, nobody can say they are perfect. We have all seen this particular day maybe 100 times or less, yes. But Jesus still loves us, right? So who am I to think or act indifferent to that? You know what I'm saying? I just see it that way. I will hurt some people, and some people hurt me too. That's the nature of life. People have hurt Jesus, and Jesus still forgave them. So that's no problem. You wise now.
Look at you coming here with a biblical perspective. Okay.
Reflex. Sorry, can you answer that particular question?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's mandatory. Like the way I disagree in the way Therese put it. Like I don't think it's or all of y'all put it. Like if you, I think it can change. Even if you're married, you know what I mean. Like love is different every day. Like is that commitment? Like you waking up and saying like, listen, this day I'm gonna be committed to this person. I might not love him like the same I did yesterday or at all, but in the confines of like marriage, for example, it's different in a relationship without a ring or without vows and things like that. I think that there should be and there is generally freedom in saying I once loved this person but I don't anymore because of set reasons. Like, and I think everything is okay with that if that's the case, or whoever the situation is outside of Demi and Giannis, whatever the situation is. I don't think people should be held in the confines of I once loved this person, so I'm gonna keep loving them till end of time.
Yeah.
And that in itself is the freedom you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not mandatory, but for me, it has been my experience. I noticed that as long as I love someone, that never really goes away. And like I said, it would take a different form, right? You're not gonna be sorry.
Let me ask you a question, right? Just okay. I'm sorry, I cut you short there, but when we talk about soul ties, we talk about soul ties, right? When you don't let go of those ties, you carry them along. How does that help you with your future relationships?
I mean, those soul tie comes with like when you've like had intimacy. So I don't know if it's the same for like every situation.
Well, I mean, you might have not had intimacy in in your dealings, but other people have had intimacies in theirs, right? So
yeah. I guess you gotta.
But
You gotta go
I think
therapy.
you would,
You gotta let it
yeah,
go.
you would have to understand. To be honest, I think it's because I think why, for the most part, we have this misconstrued perspective of love is because I don't think that we're not doing it right. The real kind of love, the agape love, like the love that since we're going the biblical sense of it, like you're talking about, no matter what we do, Jesus still loves us, that thing that you just mentioned. If you do love right, that doesn't go away. And that comes with a whole lot of things. It comes with boundaries. It comes with commitment. It comes with logical thinking as well, right? Because if we're just sticking to the whole love and emotions, that's a limited definition of what love really is, right? True love does come with boundaries. True love does come with commitment. Love is in itself is commitment. It's more than just that butterfly in your stomach, right? You still have to wake up and make that choice to choose that person every day.
Mm-hmm.
That is love. So love, I think, is a compound word. It has a compound definition. It's not just restricted to how this person makes me feel on the inside and when I see you. And it has all. Love is a spectrum of things. So if that's how I look at it. If you look at it like that, yeah, it doesn't go away with the snap of a finger, and it will come with so many things that you might look at it as a soul tie. But if you're lacking boundaries, then we have a problem, right? For me, my relationships going forward, none of the past ones have ever affected it because there's such a thing called boundaries.
Yep. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that other people have vivid memories of, I wish this person was like my ex and X, Y, and Z. Oh, I wish they were, they have like this thing playing in their head because they still have that link that, keeps reminding them of. I'm just saying, you are different. Like Flex is different in the
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Oh, some things will still flash. That ain't got nothing to do with my commitment in present now and day. Do you understand? Like Chuchu mentioned, you've shared 8 years. You have 8 years of experience with this person. It's not going to go away in 3 years. Your body would probably still remember them. If we're being honest, you will still remember how they made you feel. There are things you would go and see and you'll be like, oh, we had this memory with things like that. You can't just whitewash your brain, right? But that's when that commitment piece comes in. This is what I'm choosing today and right now. And this is what I'm doing. And you can see that with Demi, right? She was already engaged, but she came to me honest. Still honoring her relationship. There was nothing disrespectful she did. So yeah, she still felt some kind of way sitting there, but her commitment and her devotion is now with somebody else. But she still showed up. So it's not as black and white. But you can make an informed choice. You can make good decisions right now for today going forward.
Cool.
You're welcome. I'm just joking. All right, so let's move on to another theme in the book, right? Culture and family expectations. Now, the core theme of the book is centered around tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we all know what tribalism is, but just a quick around the room show of hands. Who thinks tribalism is an inherently negative thing?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Half and half.
Half and half? I'll start with you, Miss Half and Half. Do you want some coffee with that?
Sure.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it is and it is not?
I think it is because it just kind of limits mental growth. I don't know. It limits people who want to be able to explore outside of their culture if they want to, especially if they're being hounded by family that this is what you're supposed to do, but this is what they want to do. And also, I think it's not
because it keeps tradition going for certain people. And it's okay to just marry within your confines because, I don't know, for whatever tradition, it's okay.
Reflex, I can understand your stance. Hello, you wrote the book. We all know where you
Yeah, I think
stand.
it's inherently a negative thing because not only like with cultures like Democrat, Republican, that's like tribalism, to steroids. Like it's hard to find like where it's been, you know, it's been practiced without being xenophobic, in Africa, United States, politics, marriage. It just affects everything it touches in the way I see it, negative ways, tribalism. But it really should be. I think it really should be like a good thing. Like we should have identities. Not that we should be monoculture. There should be like, man, this person is from Salt, or this person is from Texas, and I'm from Maryland, or the person is from Akum, and we have those differences and we enjoy and celebrate those. But for the most part, it's like y'all eat different than us, and I don't like that, or you believe different than us, and I don't like that. Even in church, there's tribalism, right? I'm sure if Fatu, and I'm not speaking down on anything, but if you were to go to the mosque, it's like these people are hanging out. You got your friends that you hang out with. You don't go over there because they bougie or we bougie. They're not. In church, there's tribalism. There's differences, or they believe this text differently than me. So I'm not gonna really discuss it with them, things like that. So
you're saying you don't like it, or you
tribalism? Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Who has experience in the tribal relationship, and how did that go for you? Nobody ever dated outside their tribe or race or
Yes, I have.
Dated white boys before. At the end of the day,
No, say that again. Roll that back. You said what?
You know what I said?
I mean, when I was younger, when I was in like college and stuff, I dated a white boy, and it was nice. But at the end of the day, like it was just to go out to eat and just to laugh. But when it came down to fundamental things, I feel like I just realized it wasn't for me. Like it wasn't because of anything. It just wasn't for me. And I think I saw I kind of saw the stairs. Also, I agree. I agree with Reflex on this. The fact that tribalism should be more so on the side of like pride in the differences, not in people trying to like make you feel bad for the differences. You should be proud of like the things that make us different. Because I used to have this friend. He was Middle Eastern. He was from Pakistan, and we were friends for a really long time. We never were in a relationship, but we hung out a lot. I think just the fact that our religion was different. I was a stout Christian. He was a stout Muslim. We knew we were like never gonna be in a relationship. We didn't really like each other like that, but we were just really great friends. But when we hung out with each other, like we would go to the mall or do something, like we would see the stares of people, like what are they doing with each other? Like what is going on here? Are y'all trying to be in a relationship? Like we could feel the negative energy from people just by us just walking around. And like the times that I think it was like 2 times. When I say dated, I literally mean like we may have gone on like 1 date or 2 dates. It wasn't always like, oh, you guys are so cute. It was sometimes people would just look at us funny. So I definitely see it from a perspective of so people don't always like different. People don't like different. They might think that it's gonna somehow like it's gonna jeopardize like their future, like taint the blood and all that type of stuff. So I definitely see where Reflex is coming from. Like it should be something we should be proud of, but it shouldn't be that people think that because you're trying to just mingle or you find an interest in something that it has to be negative. So yeah, it can be really, really hard.
Choo, tell us your point of view. How did that go for you?
It was okay. I mean, like, he was Brazilian Persian, and we got the same stares. It was just a lot of cultural differences. Like, his family's more loud,
Wait, sorry.
outgoing.
You guys say like stairs or the stairs will go down?
Like, people looking at
Yes,
me.
like looking.
With the same time, like people really look at you like you're walking at people with 360 and watch you go and be really obvious about the stairs. Like they would be.
Sorry, I kept hearing
Look at
stairs.
you.
Question for Khadijah. Does this scare you or motivate you to want to break barriers, or does this you like, Miss? I'm just gonna go for what I'm comfortable with, and keep it simple.
I have dated before, but I never really had like a committed relationship. I think it could be because of me. I think for me, as of today, I am okay with. Well, I do want to date a Muslim man. Um, because I think there's some tradition that I want to be able to teach my kids, and I don't want my kids to be confused with picking between my mom and my father religion. And they do say most of the time kids follow after their father religion. But not only that, I want to be able to pray with my husband. I want to be able to cook with my husband. I want us to teach each other things. But I am okay. Like, I am okay with different sometimes. I don't want to judge off of your religion, like your religion or where you come from. But when it comes to like marriage, there's different tradition that I want to keep in the family. So I do want to keep the religion the same, but I am okay with dating like from a different country. Honestly, yeah.
Nice.
Babs, what you got?
Okay. I don't want to say I'm on the fence, right? Because I'm like, just bringing it back to the book. With both of them, one was Christian and the other one was Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were Christian.
Both of them were Christian, yep.
Okay, so both of them were Christians, but the issue was Yannis was from a different country, and they wanted Demi to be married a guy from Yoruba.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you people. That two different countries, right? Personal story. I've actually had my parents, both of them, tell me they specifically don't want me to marry somebody from a specific country.
Nigeria.
Just straight up. And my mother did, because I asked her like what was her reasoning. She actually sat me down and she wanted her telling me like, because I told you so. She said it's because her scare, which is like, it's an old, not say African mentality, old parents mentality, which kind of the both families in this case had, that was that other side will not accept who I am. It's very difficult because they're very cultural. Every African country, they're very tribal, they're very cultural. So it'll be very difficult for you to integrate into that culture. It'll be difficult for the family to do. You will not understand the language, and so your marriage is going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's the same thing that happened with
yes. So I'm like, you can somehow understand them from their point of view. If you listen to them and just trying to reason it out, you're like, okay, I see where they're coming from, but I don't think that you should change that. You're not them, because you guys had that experience does not mean both of these people are going to have that experiences. They're building their own family. You don't know what their cultures, their values are. You don't know what they're going to teach the kids. But if we can give their parents some grace, because I'm like, they kind of had reason for saying that the things that they say. But now you talk about back to your question about intercultural relationship, right? If Giannis and Demi were from two different religions, that is one of the things that I think our parents I see a lot of issues with in this generation, because I've met people who will tell you, I can never marry. I want somebody who's strictly Catholic. I want somebody strictly Protestant. I want somebody strictly all of this. So you do kind of, I'm kind of going back to what Reflex said earlier about these differences. It's supposed to be something that is supposed to be positive, But if you look at it in the Christian sense, or even just in society sense, it comes out with like a negative connotation, like very bad, and that somehow plays into those two people that are trying to bring a relationship, and it just destroys everything, which is what happened to both characters in this book, unfortunately. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in Cameroon, for example, French and English, there's the saying that most of the French people are dirty. Women, I'm speaking of. So, with that said, and this is just hypothetical, right? Just speaking, for example. So me, the English guy, I should not marry a woman who will bring filth in the house because tribalism has a negative connotation to it.
Are you marrying the woman or you're marrying her tribe? Is that woman dirty? The woman you're marrying, is she dirty?
Right.
She's not dirty.
So you feeding into the
You're feeding into it. She's not dirty. Let's say it's a generalization. Is that woman dirty?
Some of the generalizations are they not true though?
Pick the person. That's the person. Look at the person that you're getting married to, the person that you're making the commitment to. Focus on that person.
Okay.
True that when you marry somebody, you marry their family. If your argument is that the patients, they're not, sorry, I'm talking about patients, sorry. Your future bride's family is dirty, then we have a standing. But if you are generalizing everybody, Abba. It's not fair. It's just not fair.
And that's the purpose of the book, right? It's like, you gotta fight through the noise and make it work.
Yeah, I mean,
it was 8 years or less.
We mentioned earlier about Janos was ready to he was ready to lose it all for her if she was with the program. You know what I mean?
When we done recording,
Didn't you guys know that
I'll give you a lowdown.
Didn't you guys know that Janos has a history of running away?
You know what? But let's talk about the end, how their relationship. Spoiler alert, did he make it? Right. What would you say?
That they didn't make it though. You can't really say that.
Well, read the book and find out for yourself, everybody. But no, I was trying to go somewhere right now. I couldn't make the point without giving that spoiler. But
hold on. First of all, let's not say it's a spoiler because the book has been out for 3+ years now, right? So people already know what's about. They already read it. For those who haven't, we are sorry, but we are in the
a spoiler.
Yeah, we are in the we are recording right now.
For those who haven't read, skip about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Please just bear with us. Let's continue.
I was gonna ask that was in you guys' opinion, what was the ultimate factor that was responsible for dissolving that relationship between Demi and Janos? Was it tribalism or just external factors?
All of it. Their families.
So tribalism,
basically, because this stock. Somebody should take me for God and rights because I have a person.
Who else shares that opinion, or maybe something else? Was it tribalism or
no?
It wasn't in the books for them. God did not destine that for them, so it was bound to fail regardless of what. That's my take to it.
That's an interesting take.
T, when you're done, can he expand on that? Because I want to see.
I mean, he might as well now. Because I'm curious to find out.
In everything, right? I mean, for the most part, right? Like we say, man can, you can do all you want, but if God has something different for you, it will not work, right? It's the same thing. They could have gone. Janos could have carried her. They could have eloped and gone someplace else. They could have gone to Mars, for who cares, right? If it was not in the books, if it was not ordained or written that these two people belong together, it wouldn't have worked regardless of what they did. Regardless of what they did. Why was it easy for her to take a ring and then even come into the diner and still hide it till when something before she showed it? Why did she not show it the minute she walked in? But anyways, I digress. Let's continue.
What were you gonna say, Fatima?
I was gonna say, I feel like if he would have fought a little harder, because he kind of was just like, okay, your dad told me never to come here again, so I'm not gonna that's the mindset he had. But I feel like if he would have fought harder, they would have at least gotten married without everybody agreeing, but they could have still had their family and still had their relationship. Whether or not the relationship would have failed or not, I think it was a possibility of it going somewhere if there was a fight. But I don't think it was enough of a fight. Even though it was 8 years, which is a long fight, I still think that it could have been executed.
So, okay, Fatih, let me ask you a question. And Reflex, I kind of going to jump in here. So, when they first met the parents, correct? I'm going to give Yannis credit. He was grilled and driven out of the house. On their way to the airport, that boy turned around. Or that man, I'm sorry. He turned around and went back and tried to talk to the girl's mom. He said the same thing.
Left in the first place. Why would you leave the house?
Yeah,
and
African.
Then think about it and then come back.
Please, let's not. He's African. That boy was brought up right. If an uncle, get out of my house, be getting out. You're African. You want to stand? I'm doing what? So he left, but he came back. He gathered the courage and came back. Right?
After he was told not to come back, he came back.
He came back and he was still pursuing the girl. Nobody say pursuing me, but he continued. He was the one that was pouring, giving so much encouragement to this girl, breathing into their relationship and just trying to keep it alive, right? But at some point, right, it's how much, because I feel like the guy, from what he said, which I say he kind of gave up, he felt like he had taken so much beating and he didn't know where to stand.
Yeah, that's
how much can somebody keep taking? That's just that one reflex, because he kept, he tried at some point in time, but I think he kind of gave up.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do y'all think he hit the end of the road and it was man, even if we make this work, I've seen from an author's perspective, I've seen what Nara was saying earlier, situations where it's we just gonna do this and y'all gonna come around. It happens every day. Mm-hmm. It's gonna happen tomorrow. It happened probably yesterday, right? But do y'all think in this situation dude was man, yeah, maybe it ain't for us?
Okay, so sorry, Reflex. I'm you're a Christian guy, right? If you read the story of David, right? David gave up at one point and became a thief. Yeah, he just got tired of getting beat down.
Yeah,
he kept trying and trying and trying, and the man just said you know what, God, I'm tired, and he became a thief at one point in time. So if he can do that one more, I'm he's a human being. It's I wanted to talk about give him some grace. He's a human being, right?
If we're talking about true love, I mean, true love, isn't true love what he did? Walking away?
Are you talking about the concept that if you love something, you let it go?
Yes.
Okay. So
did he walk away though?
He didn't walk away.
He didn't walk away.
He did not walk away. He did not walk away. He did not walk away. He came back. And when he was trying to walk away, the girl begged. The girl, you see what Nora is saying, that we should have just eloped? I think this she proposed that. She was ready. She's you lead me, tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
What he should have done from the jump, because he knew not in his heart, but his mind was leading. His heart was telling something else. He knew in his mind that thing was not going to work, whether eloping or not. And secondly, some people have the heart, right, to elope and say, forget the family. I don't know if it was the same in that situation. Again, for the love that we're talking about on both sides, with a man that loves a woman that much, would you want to put her through that, take her away from her family, knowing that her family is everything to her and your family is everything to you? Would you want to do that because of love?
Good question.
I think that's a... Oh, go ahead, Nora.
I think that's what he was ready to do at the end, because if this girl comes and says happy birthday to you, and then you plan a book and you go meet her and you give her a ring, he wasn't talking to her family in between writing the book and the ring. There was no, let me try and pacify them at that point. He literally was marry me. At that point, I think he had made up his mind, okay, I feel like this is what you wanted and your family may not agree, but I'm ready to take this risk. And the reason why I say, in my opinion, that there is hope for these two is because, I mean, at the end of the day, in the way Reflex wrote the book, it was just kind of like, okay, she's engaged, he said yes, but there was like an air of mystery in the sense of, from this moment to the altar, it ain't over till it's over, you know? And in case you guys have watched It's a Different World, Dwayne came up there and he was like, I love you, Whitley, and she was like, I love you too, you know? And then they left and lived happily ever after. So let me be the Dwayne and Whitley of this story. And at the end of the day, the girl's just engaged. She's not married. Like, come on, it's whatever, you know? So that's honestly why I say that things could go either way with them. And I'm a firm believer in, I mean, I'm sure you want to honor your mother and father, but your mother and father have married. They have had their own house, their own children. If you end up alone because your mother and father didn't want you to get married, you're the one who's going to be mad. So, whatever. That's all I'm saying.
I want to add too, because I agree with what you're saying. Like, because I still feel like the relationship could have went somewhere. I don't think it's about true love or not true love. Like, if you're really in love with someone, are you really gonna let that person go that easily? No. Like, he could have still fought for it. He could have had their family. They could have had the baby. The family was gonna have to come around because you can't. The grandkids are innocent. You know what I'm saying? So you never know where it could have. Yeah, like you can't.
Have you met some African parents?
You know what I'm saying? I have one, but it's really about how convincing you are, and not only how convincing, but how strict your African parent is. Because my mom is very strict, but I feel like with African parents, you have to break the rules a little bit and keep adding, and eventually they start to agree and be okay with certain things. So.
Nora, real quick. Nora, sorry to shoot. Nora,
rebel. She knew how to rebel.
if your mom and your husband is hanging on a cliff and you can only save one person, who are you saving?
Chai.
My husband.
Fatu, who are you saving?
I mean, it's so hard to say. Really?
Pick one. Who are you saving?
Yeah, you're not ready for marriage. Even my mom.
Hold on. Pick one. Who are you saving?
Both of them.
No, you can only save one.
You cannot.
I'm saving my mom.
You're saving your mom. Okay. Khadija will save her mom. Nora will save her husband. Fatu, who are you saving?
I don't even know.
She will let both of them go.
Who are you saving?
Who am I saving? Husband and mom?
No, you have to pick one.
Oh, pick one, husband or mom? My mom. I don't have a husband.
Okay. Barbara, who are you saving?
Did the guy piss me off that day? Because I'm going to let him drop.
Oh dear. Here we go.
What am I feeling like that day?
Just answer the question.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to save my husband.
Husband. Okay. Flex, who are you saving? Wife or mother?
They ain't gonna be in no cliff. God forbid.
Yeah. Okay. So who are you saving?
I think husband.
Husband. For anybody who says mother, the same husband you are running your mouth to come and be running and doing all these things is the same guy you want to drop. Okay, no problem. Let's continue.
I was gonna say, like, going back to commitment and love, I feel like they can both exist regardless whether one is there or not. And Jonas, he definitely lost commitment. There was love, but the commitment definitely fell off because, like, there could be external driving factors like the tribalism that could have hindered the commitment. Commitment means that you are consistently working towards challenging times. You're committed and you're being consistent with that person. And over time, certain things can chip that away. It can chip it away and it can eventually fall off to where you're left with nothing. You've gone through the challenges. You've fought through everything. You've been consistent. You've been there, but then it's like, what else can you add into that commitment to just take it up a notch? And I feel like at that point, Jonas was just probably like, I've done everything. Like, what else can I do to stay committed, to show that I can do this? And it probably just fell off, and all you had left was just love.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to go back to something AK said, and that kind of marries into that, right? When it comes to love in the context of a partner, Is there such a thing as too great a sacrifice to make?
Yes.
Not again.
Is there such a thing as too great a sacrifice to make when it comes to a relationship with your partner, your life partner? And some are married, some aren't. Let's imagine you're in your ideal relationship, right? Your ideal partner. For those who are not married, is there such a thing as too great a sacrifice to make? And tie that into Demi and Giannis's relationship, right? Where AK said, because he loved her so much, he didn't want to take her away from her family. But was that sacrifice he's to make?
I think that. Right.
I can only go from my thoughts before I was married and after I was married, right? The whole concept of leave and cleave to me is I take it very seriously. There were things that I would have never thought of doing when my husband and I were dating in our long distance versus the moment he was like, will you marry me? I say yes, we went, got things, and made it official. So there's just some sacrifices that I was not willing to make when you didn't commit to me in front of God and somebody. You know, divorce is whatever, but to me, I have no thought of divorce in my marriage. But when we were just dating, there were a lot of things that I was like, if X, Y, and Z happens, maybe we're not meant to be, right? Like, but I think that at the end of the day, I don't think now that this is my life partner, this is my husband, this is the father of my child. I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't do, because I take our relationship literally till death do us part. So now, as a married person, I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't do. So I think I would make every sacrifice. I would turn every leaf. Like there's no bounds to what I would do now. When I was like not necessarily married, I may have given up quickly. When it came to certain things, I may have been like, maybe you're not ready, so I'm gonna just bounce, you know. But for me, if somebody makes this commitment to me, I'm in there forever, pretty much. There's really nothing I really do right now.
How do we see sacrifice reflected in these two's relationship? Is there any at all?
The amount of time.
Yeah, the time definitely is a sacrifice.
The time of a sacrifice. 8 years. It's a long time.
The travel.
Yeah.
The tribalism, yep.
Okay, let's talk about time real quick, right? Concept of time, especially relationships. I don't know why a lot of people look at time, especially relationships, as a bad thing. You know, because regardless of whether you were going to be in one or not, that time will still pass. You know, and you could have wasted it with 10 bodies versus one. Or you could have just been yourself. Who knows? So what is it really about time that is so like yucky? You know, like I personally don't get it.
So
Sorry.
you can take time back though. I think that's the thing. We're only getting older. We don't get any younger. And like I said earlier, it's different for women than it is for men. With men, you could be in your 40s and date someone that's in their 20s. I mean, that's what some men do. But with us,
they're all
like,
17. Don't
even that.
They go that young.
It's true. I didn't want to say it, but it is true. So it's just like for us, you men see time differently than us women. That biological clock is always going to be there for us, and our value is different. Like the older we get, when it comes to society, our value goes down. Whereas with men, it doesn't really matter as much. So time is a huge thing for women, and I feel like I don't know if that was Demi's issue was her family not agreeing, but I feel like Demi could have reassured him about whether or not she was okay with sacrificing or losing that relationship with her family, but she never really reassured that part. So,
I mean, if you look at time in a general concept, right? There's a thing that I always say: you can make money back, but you can't make time back. You can't take time back. 8 years is a long time. I don't think there's anybody on this planet who, I hate regret. and wasting time. It pisses me off because I'm like, if you tell me that I lost money, I'm on the concept that, you know what, as long as I have bread in my body, I can make that money back. But you see, time, I cannot get yesterday back. It's gone. It's never gonna come back. So if you look at it in that aspect, it doesn't matter whether you're a man, woman, because as much as the girl is crying that she wasted her time, the guy is saying exactly the same thing. Like, I wasted my time. That's 8 years I spent on you. I could have used that and spent it on somebody else and built a more fundamental relationship, you know. So I think just because of times that you just cannot take it back.
Don't like the idea of a waste of those few words, waste of time. You know what I mean? It takes away from the fact that, within that time, there was so much enjoyment. Within that time, they prayed together. Within that time, they experienced all these different things. And also get that somebody say, we talk about a hurt. But still, when we're talking about time in itself, we only attribute it to all the negatives that come with it. What about the positives too? What about the fact that you learn something? What about the fact that this hurt will probably give you a better perspective into what you're going to go next? For example, don't marry somebody outside of your tribe, for example, or country, or whichever, right? Something like that.
I mean, but the hurt is gonna be there. I'm pretty sure there were joyous moments in there that down the road, 20, 30 years down the road, like, you know what, I have a good time with whoever this person is. But just in general is the point I'm trying to make, that when people, because to answer your question, people talk about what's the issue with time, I just is because a lot of the concepts that you cannot get that time back that you took. And so some people, they see it as, it doesn't matter at the end, or nothing about us positive. They'll think I'll be like, I wasted that part of my life. Because if you actually hear anybody in a relationship specifically that came from a long distance relationship, it doesn't matter whether it's you, your parents, whoever is talking about it, they'll just say you wasted. Is the wasted part that you keep hearing. That's just a general thing. They don't look at everything else I came with it, just that part.
Yeah, I think the waste part comes when, like, nothing, or not nothing, but nothing culminates out of the
tangible came out of it.
The expected outcome.
I was going to say, to kind of like tie back to your previous question, T, with too great of a sacrifice in time. Speaking of my personal experience, I feel like for some women, they lose a sense of self. And honestly, that is too great of a sacrifice for me. And in any relationship, to lose my sense of self, I would probably pull my own eyelashes out. And that's where the time portion kind of ties in, because like she sacrificed a lot of time, but in that moment, like you don't know what Demi had experienced. You don't know what sense of self that she lost in those 8 years of experience. And that can be detrimental for a lot of women. Like, you have spent so much time cultivating experiences with this person, whether they were good or bad, but then you have to let all of that go. You have to let that person go. You have to create new experiences. You have to create a new sense of self from what you experienced with that person. So it's like that time portion, it's big. It's very, very big.
Being an adult, check. Got it. Okay.
Let's talk about that whole time wasting and the aspect of regret, right? Regret plays an important role as to how Giannis comes to terms with how his decision has impacted their relationship at the end of the book, right? Just really quickly, without giving much away, what kind of emotion did that stir up within you? Just the aspect of him coming back with his regrets.
The typical 9 to 5.
What?
It's a typical 9 to 5. That when the sat down, I thought about how, my future is going to pass me by. It's let me go back and beg, maybe you should take me back. JK. No. That's my 9 to 5.
I mean, I thought it was a lot. I mean, I feel like he still saw something was still possible. Like, he still saw that there's a chance. And then the fact that she even had the glove on and all, that kind of like made that suspense. It's like, maybe she's still available. But right when she took it off and he saw her hand, it was just like, I don't know, because I was envisioning it. I was picturing it in my head. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So it gave me like a oh my gosh moment. I was in shock. It wasn't expected. But I mean, I understand why she went about it the way she did. So
I I cannot had in terms of emotions, right? That entire thing, which just like I had a question for Reflex, I get to it. What was he expecting? Because it just so happened that she texted him happy birthday and he created all of this perfect scenario in his head. He was going to go back excited about the book and had all these plans and blah, blah, blah. And was he expecting her to be just the same as he left?
I don't remember.
like I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good question. I gotta read. I guess I haven't read the book in a minute.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember that.
well, let's do this. Let's take a round, like for each person, right? Barbara, I'll start with you since you were already on it. What was some of the turning points in the book for you? Real brief. Where do you think that there could have been a different choice made by anybody in the book?
Okay. I think the biggest turning point was, I don't remember the exact chapter, but when he kind of gave up and she sat down and actually had a conversation with him. She said, I don't know, maybe this is me just adding my own scenario in there, but she kept pouring into it and she begged him that he shouldn't do that and did tell him that if she goes, she's not going to come back. Right? In her head, at first he was the one pouring, right? And she was reluctant. If a woman is telling you that we can make this through, hang in there, don't go, let's just keep going, going. But he still said, I cannot do this. And then he left. I'm like,
dang.
My guy.
Dang.
Come on now.
Nora, this one's for you, right? In your opinion, was Demi and Giannis' relationship built on a strong foundation, or was it just doomed from the start?
I think they had a good foundation, honestly, because they had family values, they had their faith. I think they were young, and when you're young, you have all these hopes. You know, you think that it's going to be butterflies, and you, even when you're young, you are more hopeful. So maybe if they would have started at like the age of maybe 25, they got out of college, they had experienced something, they would have maybe even given themselves a limit, like, okay, if your family says this isn't going to work, I don't even have the energy anymore. So they started off really, really young, and their hopes were high. And I think life gave them more than they probably could handle. I think that's really what happened. I think life just really gave them more than they can handle. And like Barb said, there's a part of me that's kind of like, dang, and it's like you were acting like you didn't take this girl seriously when she said, if you are done, then we're really done. You know? Like, she was like, if you leave, I'm not coming back. Mm-hmm. And then he was all like, oh, happy birthday, yay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But no, bruh, like, you weren't listening to her. Mm-hmm. That means you weren't listening. So are you really a nice dude? I mean, I'm also the Dwayne and Whitley, but still, I'm also for like were you listening? Because it looks like you weren't listening. So, yeah.
Okay. Choo Choo, just in line of what Nora just said, right? Does regret and steps to mend things to undo past, can that change consequences? Can that make things better? Should it? Shoulda, coulda, woulda?
Yeah, I think regret does change consequences. Like, I mean, he had his chance multiple times, and he tried, and things just didn't pan out. So, regret can change consequences. It can push you to want to do something, and it can also deter you from wanting to do a certain action. So, I mean, it all depends on how much you want it.
So yes, but not in all circumstances, if I understand you. Uncle Leke, who do you think made the best decision? Demi or Giannis? And why? Talking about the end of the book.
You said any character, right?
No, I said Demi or Giannis. Who do you think made the best decision? Was it Demi for moving on, Giannis for coming back? Who was it?
I think both of them, right? I think one for Giannis, he needed clarity on that front, right? To see if there was something still there, right? If him throwing this last card, if it's going to hit, right? And on Demi's part, I mean, like, Fatu, right? I mean, sorry, like Nora, right? Is the ring. She wanted the ring. So she got what she wanted, and and that's that. But in general, let me just keep this one in there since I'm speaking. In general, I think the parents made the best decisions for them. Because they say what an old man sees sitting down, a young person cannot see standing even on the highest ladder. And it's very true sometimes, because again, like him going and getting kicked out and him going back again to go and plead his case. My guy, Giannis was strong, because if I was Giannis, the very one time is good enough. Do you know I need to get kicked out of the house?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
One time was good enough.
Fatu, who was your most relatable character in the book?
I would say Demi.
Why?
Because I feel like it kind of reminds me of myself. Like if I'm in a relationship, I feel like I want to give it all, and I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep trying, and I feel like Demi did keep trying. So I think that's why I feel like I related to her, because I don't give up too easily. Like if I really want something, but if I don't really want something, then I'll easily give up. So I would say Demi.
Yeah. This last one, before we go, we're just going to have a one short segment to ask the author maybe any lingering questions that we have. But Reflex, writing this book, what is your favorite moment in the entire book? Why?
I think in writing a book, like just the process of like learning how to be creative writing. The book, like in all transparency, it was a tough one, like to get out, because it faced a lot of adversity. Like as an author, I was threatened with like lawsuit and everything. So like just learning how to be creative and learning how to work through adversity. I self-published the book, so just learning the process of like how do I put a book out. If you notice, there's typos in the book, and learning that process and like reading it after it's already out in people's hands, like golly, like I can count like 5 typos like that. To this day, it's like embarrassing. And just learning the entire process was really cool.
All right. So, this is my one lingering question before I open it, because as soon as I closed that book, I was like, he needs to answer this for me.
Okay.
This book, is it about you or 2 fictional characters? Because the introduction had me hooked. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, you about to tell some family secrets. Then boom, here comes this guy from Kenya and Nigeria. I'm like, what happened to Reflex?
I can only answer that when we start recording.
Oh, come on. I'll give you that. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Dang it. Okay. Who else has a lingering question for the author?
Nora said something at the end, right? As I said in the beginning, I was kind of pained at what happened. Mm-hmm. But there's like this little part of me that hopes Yanni's kind of like kept fighting, and like Demi just told the current fiance, like, that was my first love. Mm-hmm. I'm a hopeless romantic that way. Yeah. So is there a part 2? And are they going to end up back together, or this is just me creating scenarios in my head?
No. That's a good question. The book is done. It's done.
It's done?
Yeah. It's done. Yeah.
Okay. Did you during the course of this book, right? I'm assuming not assuming. Let me ask you: did you get the opportunity to interview like couples, real life couples who are from 2 different?
So I did speak. So I tap in situations like I have a friend who's Muslim, like Fatu, and I think Khadija, who's married to a Christian. I talked to them, tapped into their story. If you notice, Temidayo, who wrote the foreword to the book, he and his wife went through the exact same thing, but they're married. So they have a good outcome, and their parents eventually came around. I talked to most of the couples that I know, like I mentioned in the introduction to the book. They went through, and their parents, are coming along or have come along, but like fast forwarding to the end, I didn't want it to be like the traditional. Oh, like we're gonna go ahead and give and make this couple have a happy ending. Like there's some people who don't get to enjoy that, and that's just the reality of tribalism. That's the reality of some relationships. So I wanted to speak to that as well.
Okay, so let me put, if nobody else has a lingering question, who hasn't spoken yet, Babs, hold on, let me give the room to other people. If you don't have a lingering question, play the author for a second. Tell Reflex how this book should have gone, one part in the book that you can rewrite, that you would like to change the sequence of events, something.
Yes.
If you don't have any question for him, tell him how it could have been done better.
Yes, go ahead, Gadi.
Y'all already know mine, okay? It's gonna be the day of the wedding, and Jonas is up in there, and she's in her beautiful gown, and he's like, "I love you. Forget them, be mine." And she's like, "I love you too." And then they go and they get married.
I like it. Alternate endings. Khadija, what's up?
I also agree, but I do feel like everything happened for a reason. Who knows? She wasn't meant to be Yona's soulmate. But I did wish that he probably would have fought, a little bit harder. Maybe they would have got married and had kids. I don't know. That's my happy ending as well.
Choo choo.
Y'all would have met a little bit more earlier, not after 2 years, 3 years, maybe a little earlier.
I know that's right. They wouldn't have done 8 years, would they? If you wrote this book, huh?
They would not have done 8 years. No, they would lasted 2
True. I like it.
Not earlier that were all of this stuff, but I feel like the friendship was important. That was a strong foundation that they stood on. And I feel like that's what really helped them withstand those 8 years of being with each other. Because if that wasn't there, then 2 years they would have been done. But yeah, it
still delivered.
Yeah.
What part of the book would you rewrite?
I won't write anything. I think it gave what it was supposed to. But if you force me to give an answer, I think it will be that part of him where she shows the ring.
Oh.
I'm like, if you already, decided to, move on, like, why even go ahead and buy a ring, and bring the thing, like, rough, like, kind of stuff is that? But anyways, that's just me though. But yeah.
Show of hands, who would recommend this book?
Oh, you guys are so nice.
Can I lift my legs too?
You can. That counts.
Good book.
Well, before Uncle AK wraps us up, thank you, Reflex, for coming on. We do appreciate you. It was a lovely read, even though, as you can tell, we wish for better outcomes. But we do appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us and sharing your thoughts from an author's perspective. So, big up. Thank you.
Nah, I appreciate y'all. This was cool. Appreciate you guys reading it, and hopefully when I'm done with the next one, we'll do it again.
Oh, for sure,
definitely.
For sure.
Are you giving us first dibs?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You heard it here. You heard it here. You said
it's on the internet forever.
Yes.
Yeah. So so because I really enjoyed this. So my next book is like halfway done, but I have an idea for another one.
Hey.
And I'm kind of like putting it out there because I don't know if I should like really I want to write a book about female genital mutilation.
Oh wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
Would y'all be interested in reading something like that?
Oh yeah, we read it all. If you have read Biana Wise twice, trust me, we can read that one.
Okay.
Very true. Uncle AK, carry go.
I have a second in there to write my own piece of that.
No.
I don't like this vote of this.
As the unofficial publicist for the book, no.
Anyways, yeah, thanks. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you joining us. Man, yeah, appreciate you taking the time to write this. It's on. Yeah, just jump on
Amazon,
Apple Books, Amazon. Everywhere you buy your books. Yeah, there's the audio version of it too. If you want to hear his voice, it's very good to listen. Yeah, go and get it. Anyways, yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us. Our very next read. Shout out to Mami Nora down there. She gave us our very next read. It's Fahrenheit. I think that's how it does. Yeah, 451 by Ray. Is it what? Bradbury. Yeah, Bradbury. There you go. Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 451. I'll put the image somewhere here. Nora, what is that book about, man? Because I picked it like this, and I said, "How?"
Don't tell us. Don't spoil it for me. I like to go and read that once. Don't tell us.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So that's our next read. Please cap it if you want to, read alongside with us. We'll put our next recording date. It's always at the end of the month, anyways. So if you want to join us, yeah. We're looking for.
I thought this was like a weekly thing. That's okay. So you have time to read. Cool.
Weekly.
Yeah. Weekly. Well.
Am I the one briefing the president?
Hey, Uncle K, before you go, Reflex, how can the people connect with you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, send me an email. I am Reflex at. Wait, what's my email? It's in the book. Sorry, yo.
At Gmail.
Yeah, at gmail.com. And I'm on social media as well. I am Reflex on all social media, and I have a YouTube channel. But I talk about like work and stuff on there, so not books.
Throw the handle. What's the handle on YouTube?
Flex Flex MBAH. If you just look that up.
Show notes.
Thank you.
We all in the show notes for you guys too, for easy access. It's like easy access. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you enjoy this one. Khadija, too. Welcome again. Mami Nora, welcome back from maternity leave, or keep holding it down, and yeah, man, check us out on all social platforms. And yeah, it's a collab, Stuck in the Middle, Online Central, book review. Tap the book, read the book, spoil it, don't spoil it, but share it. Please and thank you. We are out. Bye.